The following video is created for educational and awareness purposes only. Our goal is to revisit unsolved criminal cases and keep their stories alive, in hopes that renewed attention may one day help bring answers, or even justice. We do not intend to accuse, defame, or spread misinformation about anyone involved. All information is based on publicly available sources and media reports. On the night of August 30th, 1990, a quiet suburb of Westerville, Ohio, became the center of a chilling mystery. A young man, Tony Lombardi, just 22 years old, was found dead in his own bed. A single gunshot wound, a .38 caliber pistol on the floor, and a family that refused to believe what police concluded. Police said it was suicide, but Tony's parents believed it was murder, and that the killer might have still been inside the house when his mother found him.
Welcome to Haunting Justice, where we dive deep into real crimes, cold cases, and unsolved mysteries.
Tony Lombardi lived with his parents in a modest home in Westerville, Ohio. Friends described him as cheerful, funny, and deeply loyal to his family. He worked night shifts at a baby food factory in Columbus, a job that left him exhausted but proud. He was also popular with women. At least 3 were reportedly involved with him at the time, one of whom was already living with another man. Tony's mother, Cheryl, recalled that despite his social life, Tony remained close to home. He wasn't reckless, just young and full of plans for the future. Around 12:45 a.m., Cheryl Lombardi walked into her son's bedroom, and her world stopped. Tony was lying motionless on the bed, a bullet wound to his head, the pistol on the floor. The police arrived within minutes, led by Sergeant Michael Hatzo. They found a .38 caliber automatic pistol and a single spent shell in the bed. At first, everything pointed to murder. Tony's car was missing from the garage, suggesting someone killed him and fled. But within hours, the case took an unexpected turn. Investigators soon discovered a drunk driving citation in Tony's jeans pocket. 2 days earlier, Tony had been arrested for DUI, and his car had been impounded. Police theorized Tony was ashamed, fearful of losing his license, and depressed. To them, it seemed clear a young man overwhelmed by his mistakes had taken his own life. Sergeant Hatzo said, "We treat every death as a homicide until proven otherwise. But in this case, all signs pointed to suicide." The coroner, sheriff's department, and district attorney all agreed. Case closed. But the Lombardi family refused to accept it. Tony's parents, Cheryl and Anthony Sr., believed their son had been murdered, and they claimed the evidence was right in front of the police. They described what they saw as clear signs of a struggle. Tony's jaw appeared broken. There were bruises across his body, a deep cut above his left eye, and his watch shattered on the floor.
"He fought back. I know my son. He didn't do this to himself."
They also noted something strange. Tony's body was found completely naked. To Cheryl, that alone was proof of foul play. "Tony would never want anyone to find him like that," she said. Cheryl later revealed something haunting. She remembered walking past Tony's room just after midnight. The light was off, but around 12:45 a.m., she heard footsteps and a door closing. When she checked again, light glowed from under the door. She believes the killer was still in the room, trapped after she came home and escaped minutes later. However, police argued Cheryl never mentioned these noises during the initial investigation. When questioned later, she wasn't sure what she'd heard. But for Cheryl, that light remains the key. A silent witness to a crime she believes was covered up. 1 week before his death, Tony received 2 chilling threats. The first came from a road rage incident. A neighbor saw Tony arguing with the driver of a white pickup truck. The driver screamed, "I will kill you. I know where you live." That man was never identified. The second threat came over the phone, a voicemail warning Tony to stay away from another man's girlfriend, or he'd be shot. Tony's best friend, Andy Royer, said he even tried to mediate the conflict. The guy said Tony would get what's coming to him, Andy recalled. Andy claimed police never interviewed him. Police, on the other hand, said they contacted many people, but found no evidence Tony was under any real threat. Forensic tests were supposed to settle the case, but instead, they deepened the mystery. Police used a trace metal detection test and found that Tony's hands had recently touched metal, proving, they said, that he fired the gun. But Tony's parents fought back. He worked in a factory handling metal cans all day. Of course, there'd be traces of metal. Then came the bullet trajectory problem. Tony was found lying on pillows, with the bullet lodged in the headboard behind him. His mother demonstrated that the angle of the bullet was far too low for him to have shot himself in that position. 2. The Lombardis. That meant one thing. Someone else pulled the trigger. Despite the family's insistence, investigators stood firm. No sign of forced entry. No fingerprints other than Tony's. No missing valuables. They said the case was tragic, but closed. Still, the Lombardis accused police of rushing to judgment, ignoring witnesses, and mishandling key evidence. Years later, the case remains officially ruled a suicide. But questions continue to haunt those who knew Tony best. More than 3 decades have passed, yet Cheryl Lombardi refuses to give up. She's written letters to state officials, spoken to reporters, and even reached out to cold case units hoping someone, somewhere, will reopen Tony's file.
They can call it suicide all they want, but I know what I saw. My son didn't do this to himself.
For Cheryl, justice isn't about revenge, it's about truth. She believes that the person responsible is still out there, and that someday, the truth will surface. Was Tony Lombardi a young man crushed by despair, or a victim silenced by someone close to him? The bruises, the broken jaw, the strange light in the hallway. Every clue points in a different direction, but in the end, only one truth exists, and Tony can no longer tell it. If you believe every mystery deserves justice, then don't let this one fade into silence. Subscribe for more true stories like this, and help keep Tony Lombardi as a memory alive.